doughboys in New York Harbor waved at the Statue of Liberty, she waved back, for Miss Liberty was spotted with stuntmen. Hundreds of feet up, she provided a ringside seat for an Army's return. And in this period of wonderful nonsense, it all seemed perfectly natural. Across the continent, the classic dome of San Francisco's Palace of Fine Arts was turned into a speedway, and an enterprising cameraman got these pictures of a pair of bicyclists whose first strong turn would undoubtedly be their last. The tall buildings of the time were perching places not only for pigeons, but for human flies who specialized in hanging from ledges and doing headstands on windowsills. Some of the daredevils were so anxious to start climbing, they couldn't even wait until a building was completed. Al Ritchie cavorts on the framework 18 stories up. Notice how the people below go placidly about their business. You are apt to pass 2 or 3 human flies just on the way to work. On a steel girder, Bill Baldwin outhangs the baboons with just 300 feet between the soles of his shoes and the hard sidewalk. This must be a wonderful way to stay young. Who ever heard of a stuntman growing old? Swinging Sig Smith gets a fine view of New York City skyline as he duels with gravity. From the bottom rung of this ladder, it's a big step down. Human flies? They're everywhere. 21 stories above Broadway, Daredevil Reynolds decides that although he's on a diet, it would be highly inadvisable to leave the table. One slip, and think of what would happen to all that furniture. Rudy Camino gets into the act, and all too quickly out of it. Well, Rudy, fancy meeting you again. In these daredevil days of emancipated womanhood, lady human flies were almost as common as male. This contemporary of Pearl White dangles over eternity without hardly ruffling a hair. During the First World War, women had replaced men, even in such hazardous occupations as painting smokestacks. And after the armistice, they kept right on the job. There's nothing so surprising about this scene. Back in this period, everybody was doing the Charleston. These were the days, too, of super strong men like Sailor White, whose teeth could pull 4 cars, and that famed horse fancier Warren Travis, who thought nothing of a tug-of-war with 6 draft horses, 3 on each side, in this original version of the 2-way stretch. Rumsy-daisy, here's the secret of Warren's strength: ladyfingers and ice cream. Al Ritchie uses a steel bar to go on a bender. While the men in the audience marvel at Ritchie's strength, the ladies can enjoy the fashion show. Al feels fine now, but wait until he tries straightening up. Now, where's he going? Oh, only about 2,000 feet up in the air. The camera pointed straight down at balloonist Ed Unger gives a good impression of what it feels like to be an aerial stuntman. Thank goodness here's a policeman to stop all this nonsense. Los Angeles officer Voy K. Apt would stop it all right, except he suddenly remembered he forgot his Saturday night bath. Voy cuts a dashing figure in his latest model bathing suit. After a busy day pinching speeders and Model Ts, a cop deserves a little relaxation. And Voy has plenty of privacy in his floating bathtub. My, wouldn't it be embarrassing if he fell out? Well, Voy, I hope you didn't neglect to wash behind the ears. The airplane was less than 20 years old, but the barnstormers had it doing everything. Roman Warren liked to swoop under bridges. This arch is only 19 feet high. Augie Peddler demonstrates astounding aerial precision by dangling by his knees just 8 feet above the speeding ground to grab a cap. Aerial stuntmen were a smashing success. Swoop under bridges. This arch is only 19 feet high. Augie Peddler demonstrates astounding aerial precision by dangling by his knees just 8 feet above the speeding ground to grab a cap. Aerial stuntmen were a smashing success. All was well when the pilot could crawl out of the ruins to take a bow. It was a restless era, and everybody who was someplace wanted to be somewhere else. If a stuntman was on one plane, it seemed he wanted to be on another. When he finally got on the right plane, he wanted to be in a car. And when he was on a train, he wanted to be on a plane. Now, wasn't that a silly time to get off the train? On second thought, maybe it wasn't so silly. This hook's for Al Johnson, who's going to take the blindfold test. Al can't see a thing as he rides a pitching airplane and gropes with hobbled feet. The hook's got him, and Johnson's left hanging head down after the most dangerous plane-to-plane transfer of them all. Joe Campy seems perfectly at home in a straitjacket as he makes like he's a human bomb. Stuffed in a wooden pipe, he goes 4,000 feet up. The pipe tips, and Campy, bound hand and foot, begins dropping out, head first, with a parachute attached to his feet. All he has to do is remove the straitjacket and right himself before the earth rushes up to meet him. A simple mouthpiece of hard rubber is the only support of stuntman Jack Shaw. Hanging from a swaying rope ladder, Jack clutches onto life by his teeth alone. Suppose he got cold and his teeth began to chatter. Chief White Eagle claims he has the strongest hair in the world, and he prepares to prove it the hard way. This is the hard way. Among the barnstormers, only sissies wore parachutes. In White Eagle's hair-raising stunt, falling hair would mean falling Indian. Gladys Roy daintily powders up like any other flapper before going on a joyride. It's an aerial joyride atop a looping airplane with only a few thin wires for support. When the spinning earth appears above, Gladys is dangling in space, head down. Gladys is down. She's up. She's down. This will muss her makeup. The old-time cameraman had to be as daring as the Daredevils. This one strapped down for a trip aloft to get pictures from a diving airplane of the Earth spinning like a top. One of the passengers goes below to the observation deck for fresh air and a better view, while the pilot, like a buggy driver dropping the reins, gives the plane its head. Though the barnstormer was riding high, he was to become a vanishing American. At fairs and carnivals, his breed still remains. Yet his era of glory is in the past. His daring, reckless spirit belongs to that period which began with the war's end and ended with the Depression's beginning. His was the time of low-powered planes and high-powered stuntmen, of the tin flask on the hip and the tin Lizzie in the garage, of rolled stockings, marathon dancing, crystal sets, mahjong, miniature golf, and the noble experiment. Some of us old now were then young, and some of us hadn't yet been born. But to those who remember, the world was a carefree, mad, whirling, twirling, topsy-turvy place back in the Daredevil days.
Aquí tenemos a la esposa de Bonnie Dryden, una de las pocas mujeres que tiene fe ciega en su marido, a tal extremo que no teme cruzar con él en la cuerda floja por sobre los rascacielos de Los Ángeles. Donde quiera que va él, va ella. Un gran ejemplo para todos los casados y magnífico material para el noticiario. Ray Woods es otro tipo sensacional. Aquí está listo para tirarse desde el puente de Aurora en Seattle, Washington. El señor Woods se lanza desde una altura de 65 metros, lo que constituye un récord mundial. Por lo menos, así dice él. Llevamos nuestra cámara fotográfica al parque de Palisades de Nueva Jersey, donde los peritos demuestran que pueden lanzarse desde una altura fenomenal a un tanque diminuto. Y luego quisimos fotografiar a Jack Latowski, más de cerca, y nos dio el gran baño. Estos locos arriesgan la vida en forma sensacional para emocionar a los espectadores en el muelle de acero en Atlantic City. Y hay que verlo. Con mucho menos hay quien se marea. Nosotros, por ejemplo. Hay muchísimos lanzadores de dagas, pero este señor de Viena es algo excepcional. Pobre señora, qué apuros pasaría cuando estaba aprendiendo. ¿Y ahora dónde? ¡Ey! ¿Por sobre las narices? Pero hombre, qué bien. Esteban Clemente, en vez de dagas, lanza hachas, picos y toda clase de artefactos. Cuidado, don Esteban. Muy bien hecho, pero muy bien. Y en la célebre playa de Coney Island, estos ciclistas profesionales nos ponen los pelos de punta. En Europa Central encontramos dos caballeros que han resuelto el problema del tráfico. Observemos con la cámara retardada. Si el auto de atrás quiere pasar, dejamos que el de delante dé un salto de carnero y pasamos por abajo. No puede ser más sencillo. El alpinismo es un gran deporte, sobre todo como lo practican estas señoritas de Colorado. Casi se matan por llegar a la cima y dejarse fotografiar tan campantes. La flecha humana arriesga a romperse el pescuezo en Los Ángeles. 28.000 libras de presión lo lanzan al espacio y esta vez cae sin novedad. Mientras que en Ocean Park, California, nos encontramos con Cliff Clef, a quien se le podría llamar con toda propiedad carne de cañón. Se lanza a 50 metros de distancia y va a caer al Océano Pacífico. Y esta vez nos arriesgamos nosotros, tras de un vidrio a prueba de balas. También se arriesga esta chica. ¿Serán balas de verdad? ¡Escuchen! Navegando en canoa por entre las rápidas de Maine. Las rocas sumergidas son sumamente peligrosas. Y estos están en dificultades. Ahí van. Si salen con vida será un milagro. Pero el milagro se realiza. Escapan por un pelo. Y miren cómo ha quedado la canoa. En Washington vemos rescatar de la muerte a dos individuos cuya canoa se vio hundido en el río Potomac. Desde un dirigible les lanzan unos salvavidas y con ellos han sido remolcados hasta tierra, poco a poco. Fue una experiencia que jamás olvidarán, salvados desde el aire. ¡Qué espectáculo! Los tres hermanos Allen hacen cosas extraordinarias valiéndose de un globo. Se elevan en Woodsport, Nueva York. Las chicas no se han lanzado hasta en paracaídas. Esperan que el globo haya extendido lo suficiente para lanzarse. A ver ahora, jóvenes. Gloria es la primera. Muy bien. Florence la sigue. Y aquí tenemos al hermano mayor. Todo sin novedad. Pero Charlie Powell de Oklahoma quiere hacer algo nuevo y se deja arrastrar a 70 kilómetros por hora. Vaya un estómago que tiene Charlie. En Coral Gables, Florida, fotografiamos el concurso de aviación americano, que fue algo sensacional. Para aterrizar, no es necesario emplear las dos ruedas, dice este señor. Empleando una, no se gastan tantos neumáticos. Emociona a los espectadores en Long Beach, California, con tan perfecto control que con una de las alas del avión recoge un pañuelo. Milo es uno de los aviadores más intrépidos que existen. Deja caer una de las ruedas de su avión a propósito, para luego aterrizar con una sola. Miren ustedes. ¡Ten cuidado, Milo! Si el eje toca la tierra, tus días de hacer cosas espectaculares habrán terminado. ¡Vaya un hombre! En Bakersfield, California, vemos autos que se meten por entre las llamas. Esto siempre es del agrado del público, sobre todo cuando el capitán Bosworth emplea la cabeza en forma de ariete. Nuestra vieja amiga Frances quiere ser maestra ahora, y el discípulo es Jim de Lucas. Aquí los vemos en Indianápolis haciendo pedazos una casa. ¡Ten cuidado, Jim! El avión da un salto de carnero y parece que no volverán a volar. Pero no hay nada de eso. La próxima exhibición a las 4:30. Y Jim nunca deja quedar mal al noticiario. En la playa de Newport, en California, Don Stevens y Frank Walcott nos enseñan algo nuevo. Don, en un aeroplano sin motor, recoge a Frank, que ya es bastante hacer. Pero parece que aquí tenemos aquello de hoy por ti, mañana por mí. De modo que cambian de lugar. Esto es algo que ellos inventaron, y en lo cual nadie los ayudó. Ahora se lanzará al agua. La verdad que no quisiéramos tomar parte en estas cosas. Son muy peligrosas. Y aquí tenemos un señor que se deja colgar por el cuello como si tal cosa. Los que presencian esta exhibición en Los Ángeles quedan horrorizados, pero no hay cuidado. No le pasa absolutamente nada. Y en Vincennes, Francia, vemos a Clinton, célebre aviador americano, perder la vida. Se lanza desde el aeroplano, y aunque las alas del aparato que él había inventado funcionaron a la perfección, su paracaídas no se abrió. Los espectadores lo vieron despedazarse en tierra. Y así perdió la vida uno de los que se reían de la muerte.
Trans-Incidental Airways are inaugurating through flights from coast to coast without a single stop. Trans-Incidental President Kuki Kuppenheimer demonstrates that children will be permitted to fly free from Tuesday to Thursday. Now, this great time saver is only one of Trans-Incidental services. They also give free lessons in wing hopping. It will save time when you fly. No more waiting for that plane. Transfer in the air. See how easy it is? Ohio. Mrs. Irving Flapp, wife of utility aircraft's great test pilot Irving Flapp, has evolved a plan whereby wine for medicinal purposes may be delivered rapidly to the remote corners of the globe. Here, Mrs. Flapp rushes a fresh supply of grapes on its way to Bottleport, Texas, where an emergency exists. 20 World's Vineyards have declared it a disaster area. Mrs. Flapp loses no time in beginning the grape crushing on the flying stomping press. Now this batch will be in bottle port in hours, ready for distribution. Colonel, New Mexico. You're not offended. Funny World cameras were on hand recently when Arch Criminal, a 136-time loser, was transferred to a security prison upstate. Arch, defiant as always, told his captors no maximum security pen would hold him. Judge Julia Jurisprudence admonishes Arch to be a good sport and do the 199 years like a gentleman. And despite all the special precautions taken, people on the ground were appalled to look up and see one of the most daring getaways in history. He is still at large, and it is speculated he hitchhiked on a passing jet. While Funny World does not condone crime, it is impressed by enterprise and resourcefulness. So, with some qualification, we salute Arch Criminal. That's right, Arch. Barcelona, Texas. Funny World. Vertigo, Virginia. Hugh Manfly, mayor of Vertigo, undaunted by an elevator power failure, goes to his office as usual. As Hugh put it, it's just what the burgers would expect of me. Mayor Manfly, Vertigo's chief executive, loses no time getting to work. And here, Hugh stops to catch his breath for a moment. Our equally undaunted cameraman, Otto Focus, left a party to record the event. Mayors all over this funny world can well be proud of their fraternity. There's Otto. Hi, Otto. We salute Tip Heavy, businessman of the week, for putting a real feather in his cap. Crowds gather to watch George Woofer of Tweeter, Arkansas, as he installs a new antenna for his low-pass, high-gain, bass reflex, inverted duplex hi-fi set. That's George now, sitting on his antenna to see if it'll carry a strong signal. But he's being careful, because last week he slipped and spiraled to the ground, making 33 1/3 revolutions per minute. He's been playing around up there for 2 days this time, setting some kind of a record, probably LP. Someone's calling him. As he picks up the phone, his wife Sapphire needles him about his long playing. So down he comes, mad enough to trade his wife in on a new loudspeaker. Tough luck, George, but when you're a hi-fi fan, you have to face the music.
Things certainly were on the up and up at Coney Island. Muppet twinkles his toes on the tightrope. And then Mama, with equal nerve and grit, amazes the gaping crowd with a few demonstrations of how she leads a balanced existence. It's a heavy responsibility for the tightrope. Anyway, the crowd likes it.
To thrill the crowds or maybe promote a cure for bunions, we had the daring human flies, second-story men making their way up in the world. The baseball scoreboard was easier to understand.
time of flappers, flivvers, hip flasks, and the Charleston, a dance we did almost everywhere. It was a restless era, and some daredevils scaled new heights, taking chances to give us thrills. The crazy stunts and death-defying feats helped to give the Roaring Twenties much of its reputation as a reckless decade. But most of us didn't take such chances.
Everything's going up. From the stock market to aerial stunts, and the country goes wild. The sky's the limit. The airplane is thought unsafe for travel, but it makes a thrilling toy. The greatest stunt of all begins on the misty morning of May 20th.
Crowds jammed the resort, where they were amazed by the death-defying stunts of wing walkers, who never knew which end was up.
It looked as if the new airplane was going to be more than an attraction for weekend.
experiments in refueling planes in flight. With 5-gallon cans of gasoline attached to pickup apparatus on flying field, plane in need of fuel comes in and the can of precious liquid goes up for grabs. At Los Angeles, California, in middle 20s, flyers seeking membership in the Black Cat Society of Daredevils prove that they have 9 lives. Candidates for Black Cat hanging from wingtips, plane roars low over field at 100 miles an hour. If he grabs that hat, he's elected to the club. He's elected, but will he live to hold office?
Lungs and also weak heart and heart attack and kaput. Ready?
This movie is a collection of stories starring people obsessed by a dream. With their strong will and sheer endurance, they strive to change their world by being inventive. Creating an invention does not mean necessarily the development of a new device or a mechanical contraption. Many wish to reshape the human body, overcome the elements, and push beyond ordinary physical limitations. Man's muscles became part of his own highly efficient machine. In each of the following stories, there is an individual willing to challenge new frontiers. Through courage and creativity, they put dreams to the test. Simply by being inventive, every man has the chance to move the world. In 1932, as this woman got ready to cross from one side of Times Square to the other, thousands of New Yorkers gathered in the street to watch.
A safe way to cross Times Square. I'm saying hello to Broadway.
Keep them back.
Get those camels out of here.
No, no.
Get them out of here.
Listen to me. Hey, you're in a lot of trouble.
What's your occupation?
Tell them what you do.
Why can't you do that?
You can't.
Just a waitress.
Waitress.
But why? I didn't know you couldn't go across it.
You should have known it.
How was it?
She could have hurt herself.
You get it?
Regardless of the law, the urge to challenge the great urban invention, the skyscraper, became an obsession. From out of this era of tall buildings emerged a new phenomenon, the human fly. These flies were everywhere. With each wall, ledge, and parapet, they showed that these giant buildings were no more impressive than cliffs or mountains. They both involve the timeless test of man outwitting gravity.
To making it dangerous again. These were the daring young men and women who floated through the air with the greatest of ease. For the thrills. For the money. And mostly for the camera. Better than just hanging around the house. He's eloping the hard way. If you really want to live dangerously, you don't even need an airplane. All you got to do is get high. Boy, if you want to get a headache sometime, just try this. Then you have the jumping and diving set. I get dizzy just stepping into the bathtub. They blindfolded him because he was too scared to look. His mother was frightened by an elevator, and his father was a second-story man. Now, this is my cousin Clyde on New Year's Eve in Aught 11. He was higher than that building. They wouldn't let this guy ride his bike down the halls. It was too dangerous. This guy's wife ran off with the tightrope walker, and his heat burned up.
to others. At the age of 4, Connie Ann Gallagher of San Antonio, Texas, has plenty of mature poise. She needs it, along with nerve and lots of other things. Yes, sir, when Mama starts throwing the knives, it helps to have calm nerves and confidence in Mother's ability. Mama, who is Mrs. Luella Gallagher, is bringing up Connie Ann in the old circus tradition. Someday, she hopes to do this to Mama. She's a little slip of a miss who hopes Mama never slips and misses. This makes up for many an anxious moment. Right now, Mama's got it all over daughter, but wait until Connie Ann grows up. At the circus in Austin, where these pictures were taken, Mama's little target for today gets top billing, along with other star performers, as Miss Cinderella of the sideshows. She is learning the age-old tradition of the circus, and at 4 years of age, she knows the thrill of sawdust and fire eating. Mother and daughter are big attractions with their Board of Death act, which never fails to keep the crowds right on edge. Step right up, folks, the one and only Connie Ann Gallagher. We give you the Gallaghers.
The fastest things afloat are the motorboats. They've come a long way since 1903, when the winner of the first big race averaged 18 miles an hour. Today, there are nearly 2 million motorboats in America, some of them capable of slashing through the water at speeds up to 80 miles an hour. When they're in a race, jockeying for position to a steady roar that can be heard for miles, it's hang on to your hat. Anything can happen. Watch out! Try water skiing if you'd like.
Run out of needles, they look for skiers in their haystacks. Now the real thing, ski jumping in its natural element, caught by the camera from every angle. The jumper is judged not only by the distance he achieves, but on control, form, and courage as well. Competitors climb the last mile for the quick trip down. Here's a jumper's eye view of his flying ski. It's like hopping off a 10-story building when you step onto this gigantic trestle. But the ski devils call it sport and throw in somersaults besides. If fair weather skiing isn't thrilling enough, try leaping into a blizzard. This is blind flying with the landing strip hidden in the mist below. Ski jumping is an exacting sport, and even for experts, sometimes the end of the trip is not too happy.
funny world. Here's an ingenious schoolgirl. She bought a war surplus balloon, and each morning she's off to classes. And she just hopes that the school remains downwind from the family farm. And so far, her only problem is an 8-mile walk home each evening carrying 600 pounds of rubberized canvas. The condition for his attempt to break the world's speed record for pedal cars. Stiff exercise is the order of the day. Legs Bullet must pedal his racer over 200 miles per hour to break the record now held by Footfree Wilson of New York. Now, this stilt walking exercise also builds confidence, as you can see. Good exercise for the chairman of the board. Only $4. Shipping charges $280. Good job, Irv. In Slips-on Falls, a human fly contest by famous Daredevils. This is George Elevator showing the technique that won him 7 national awards and complete hospital expenses. Hurry there. Get up the top. This boy's being blindfolded because he can't stand high places. His name, by the way, is Samuel Kling. There goes Sam. You might say, what makes Sammy run all the way there, Sam? Attaboy. Crowd cheering him on. You can hear this tumultuous crowd giving a reaction like you never heard. There they are. Now, that's, no, that isn't E-Ben. Oh, here comes E-Ben. No, this is not E-Ben. E-Ben is there's E-Ben. That's E-Ben shaking. That boy is working hard there. Give him 3 cheers. 3 cheers, folks. That's it. Watch it now.
Something new in Motormania debuts at Soldiers Field. This fearless foursome is the Sightrix group, famous in Britain but appearing here for the first time. There's a lot of, you might say, reverse English to their stunts. Notice that the hands almost never touch the handlebars. They take 4 men to do the hard way what one can do with ease. Hard? It's hair-raising. But they're tops for new and interesting ways of riding a motorcycle, assuming you want to ride one at all. You might want to stand instead. You'll take the low road. Riding high for the rest of the show are the Trans-World Auto Daredevils, all of whom returned alive from a 76-city tour of Europe doing just this. Talk about hot rods. That car was new. Here's what they do to the old ones. How to grow old gracefully. Just take a flyer in the stock car business. Leaping lizards.
In 1938, Willie Wilno, the human cannonball, was one of the top freelance stuntmen in the country. More than 6,000 times he was fired from the mouth of a cannon at about 50 miles an hour. Skimming over the top of a Ferris wheel, he would land perfectly intact in a net 140 feet away. At the same time, Frank Richards, who was known as the Human Fort, developed a variation on Wilno's act. He wasn't fired out of a cannon, he was fired at by a cannon. It was no fake. The cannonball weighed 100 pounds. During 1975, Evel Knievel suffered over 400 bone fractures. Yet there's no record that Frank Richards ever so much as cracked a rib in his entire lifetime.
Victoria, do you have to be crazy to be shot out of a cannon?
Sometimes.
Not until the last act's over. The biggest thrill of all is saved to last. And the show ends with a bang. A real one.
If you really want to live dangerously, you don't even need an airplane. All you got to do is get high. Boy, if you want to get a headache sometime, just try this. Then you have the jump.
1929's most sensational circus performer, Ugo Cecchini, one of 7 sons of a Peruvian painter, who introduced to America the breathtaking stunt of being shot out of a cannon 180 feet through the air. And here's the act that received such tremendous acclaim from press and public, the operation of which is a family secret. Now take a look at the human cannonball in slow motion. Hugo is in the barrel of the cannon, his brother Mario in charge of the firing device. Later, a sister Victoria did the act, but that's Hugo you're watching now. The man in the cannon, Hugo Zacchini.
Tan campantes. La flecha humana arriesga romperse el pescuezo en Los Ángeles. 28.000 libras de presión lo lanzan al espacio y esta vez cae sin novedad. Mientras que en Ocean Park, California, nos encontramos con Cliff Clef, a quien se le podría llamar con toda propiedad carne de cañón. Se lanza a 50 metros de distancia y va a caer al Océano Pacífico. Y esta vez nos arriesgamos nosotros, tras de un vidrio a...
Who blows the signal for the big show to begin. Machines pour out thousands of soap bubbles. And here's a clown who's caught up by a parcel of rapscallions. Seems they want to shoot him off in a cannon. He lands safely, much to the relief of his audience. For people who want to get upstairs in a hurry, try this.
Coming to the most thrilling of the circus acts, and it's dangerous too. This girl and her brother are loaded just like human bullets into the barrel of the cannon. Watch for them. Look out, here they come. Now our big show is over, and late tonight we will load up, hurry away, keep a date in another town tomorrow morning.
Niagara Falls, long a challenge to the daring, is challenged again. In this cocoon of inner tubes lashed with canvas, riverman Red Hill fulfills a deathbed pledge made to his father 9 years ago. Here Red poses with his pet spaniel before beginning his dangerous stunt over the 165-foot cataract. 5 others have gone over the brink before him. 2 have lost their lives. A throng estimated at 200,000 watch tensely, expectantly, as Red Hill inside his inner tube barrel is towed out on the river and then cut loose. It's man versus the elements, and man loses. Red Hill's improvised rig is torn and battered by the long drop into the turbulent waters, and Red is not in it. His body was found on the rocks at the bottom of the falls. Grief-stricken, his brothers vow to carry on the family tradition, conquer the falls that claim still another victim. Tragedy leaves its mark on men, but the falls thunder on unperturbed.